Hi everyone, welcome back to the Stay Hungry podcast. It's Joel and Andy, and today we're going to be talking about, do you know what you do? Andy, do you know what you do?
Yes, Joel. We're like a marketing company. We're like an agency, really. And we do some...
Fucking hell, just tell me.
We do some web design. Oh, SEO, that's a big one. And ads for sort of small businesses. We've been established since 1723. And...
So if I said we help appointment-based businesses with digital marketing, would that blow your mind?
That sounds way too simple, doesn't it? Am I missing something?
Yeah.
Okay, should we sum up this podcast in sort of one line? If you can't explain to people what you do in one sentence and say that with clarity and conviction, you're losing customers.
You've got a massive problem. So, and we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of it because everybody thinks what they do is complicated. So, you know.
They like to think the more complicated, the better, John.
Yeah, so... The best examples, the easy ones where you can it's very clear to know what someone does. What do you do? I'm a professional footballer. Done. Get it. Whereas the not so clear ones, what do you do? I'm a solicitor. A solicitor of what? Well, I do employment law. So you're an employment lawyer? No, I'm a solicitor. I don't understand.
So it's almost like, say, what do you do? But it's like, what do you do to help?
Yes.
That's like, so... And
we've really struggled with this because... So it's not... We're not throwing shade on everyone. It just really, really helps with your marketing message. It really, really helps with your staff being on board. It really, really helps with your customers knowing exactly what they're buying from you. So in our instance, if we said we're a marketing agency, which... We don't like the word agency, but that's a whole other podcast.
Sounds wanky.
If we said we're a marketing agency, that could be anything. That could be we do design, we do websites, we do SEO, we do ads, we do billboards, we do direct mail. And some companies like it that way. But the problem is...
I'm not interested in direct mail.
Yeah. So someone comes to you and says, I want a marketing retainer. And as far as they're aware, they're getting marketing from you. And so you start off, and the whole strategy for this client is, well, we're going to do some ads, and we're also going to make sure that all of their social media is getting a high level of engagement. And then the client says, well, you haven't done any direct mail. Well, that's not in your strategy. But I'm paying you a marketing retainer. And so, and there lies the confusion. Same thing for solicitor. You go to a solicitor, you say, I really need help with my divorce. It's all on good terms, but I don't want to lose half of everything to my partner. She's had no involvement in my business. What can you do? And then they say, well, we specialise in property law. Oh, I thought you were a solicitor. Yeah, I am.
Yeah. And I think there's that temptation to sort of you overcomplicate and over-egg the pudding. The hope that the more information is better. But all you need is to say one thing that they don't want, that they're not looking for, and they won't remember the stuff that they do need.
Yeah.
So when you're saying, oh, yeah, we do web design and SEO and direct mail, I don't want direct mail. I want SEO, but you... so really, I'd probably want an SEO specialist rather than someone who does a bit of SEO and does a bit of direct mail, does a bit of billboard. And you find that out by asking questions.
And a lot of it comes back to focusing on the outcome. So, back to the solicitor example. If you're a property solicitor, I help people overcome their property problems. Right, got it. And they no longer care how you do that. So they're not saying, oh, right, so will you represent me in court, or will you write the contracts, or will you go through these T's and C's and see if I've made a boo-boo?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what route you take to the outcome, as long as they get the outcome.
And this sounds so simple, but the amazing thing is, hardly any business owner knows this. So Emma was going out for lunch with some friends a couple of weeks ago, and one of the friends brought her sister along, and this girl doesn't really know what we do. A lady called Camilla, and she said, "Oh, you know, Emma, yeah, what's Codebreak do? And Emma said, we generate appointments for small
No,
businesses.
she didn't.
No, seriously. No, sorry. No, she, what she do? We generate appointments through digital advertising.
Brilliant.
And this Camilla was like, wow. And how do you do that? And Emma, what else would you like to know? And it's like, holy shit. So even though Camilla's not in business, Emma only told Camilla what she wanted to know, i.e. what she was interested in, what was relevant to her. To her.
So the partner test or the wife test, the husband test, significant other test is a great way to know if your message is clear or not. So go home tonight after listening to this and say to your other half, what do I do? And see what they say. Because you won't like the answer.
So I suppose in a business scenario, let's say networking that we talk about a lot, generally speaking, you meet someone over coffee and what do you do? Oh, okay, yes, we do a web design, we do SEO. So I'd say, we generate appointments through digital advertising. What else would you like to know? Oh, right, okay, so do you use Facebook ads? And again, you're answering questions relevant to them, and this will end up underpinning everything you do in your business, because that statement gets sown throughout all your marketing. So whether you're recording a podcast, whether you're writing a book, whether you're writing a blog, whether you're designing an ad, that one line, the words in that one line should be featuring heavily throughout that. And over time, that's like people who we've never met will call us up, and because they've been listening to our podcast for years or whatever, they'll be like, you guys, because you generate appointments through digital advertising, don't you?
Oh, I've got people calling me out on things I've said on this podcast now. And, 180 odd episodes in, I sadly don't remember everything I've said. So it's you've got to be very, very clear. And like I say, the partner test is an interesting one, because if you're an accountant's a good example. If you go home to your wife and say, what do I do, or husband, well, you're an accountant. That's not what I do. That's my profession. What do I do?
Big difference.
Then maybe you're a tax accountant. Yeah, that's... So
keep people out of jail.
Yeah, exactly. I keep HMRC off people's backs, or I help people feel proud about paying tax. Whatever it might be, but you can box it up whatever way. And
it's because what people like clarity and certainty. They don't like arrogance, but they like certainty and confidence. So to be able to clearly state succinctly what you do, how you help people, you will genuinely be amazed at people's reactions. They'll be like, oh God, I subconsciously they're expecting war and peace, weren't they? Oh, well, I've been doing this and I've been doing that and we've been going this. We've got 20 offices. I don't fucking care, to be honest. I was just being polite.
Yeah. The best thing as well is you'll blow your competitors out of the water and they won't even know you've done it. So you think about, and we've all been there, you go to the local chamber annual event, or you go to a black tie dinner for a big client or whatever, and there's 4 or 5 people in the room that on paper do what you do. So in my case, or your case, Andy, you can overhear the conversations and they're like, oh yeah, I do a bit of Facebook ads, and I'm really good on traffic ads, so I can get lots of people onto your website. Fucking hell, that sounds boring. And then next person, oh yeah, I'm a bit of a WordPress specialist, so I build websites in WordPress, and then the next one along, and it's we're zany, so everyone that works with us has really good fun, and we're just in the middle of getting the beanbags out. So if you want to come and have it, shut the fuck up. And
I still am upset we haven't got our beanbags in the office. They were so they'd be good for my bad back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no. The sad truth is, no one cares. They don't care that you got beanbags or that you're wacky. Can you help me?
Yeah. Now,
if you can't, great. You've saved yourself plenty of time.
If your office setup or your home working setup or the way the tone that plays when people phone you plays into your message, your vision, fine. So in our case, we help appointments-based business generate more appointments, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that, they have to have an appointment with us. And if that appointment with us is a nice experience, i.e. they can come and have a beer or play pool with us or come on the podcast, whatever, then that all fits. Whereas if someone talks to you for hours about how they can change the theming of a WordPress, but just by chance you happen to be sat on a beanbag, that isn't going to cut the mustard.
I remember speaking to a WordPress developer at a networking thing years ago.
Was he wearing a grey suit? Was it me?
She. I think she had a beret on, actually.
Oh, I know this is.
It was 15 minutes of my life I won't get back. And that I just damned my politeness for the rest of the day for inquiring. But my dad always told me, you've got to ask questions. And you said it, I think, in the last podcast, something I always say, that my dad always said, is that God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in that ratio. So I would say, generally speaking, if you're in a business conversation, or to be honest, even if you're on a date, if you find yourself talking for more than 30 seconds, shut up, ask a question.
So I was just about to say, you're playing the dating game. In business, you're playing the dating game.
I'll tell you some stories about Joel's dating years. Oh,
but
painful.
I
wish he'd asked questions back then.
Well, I was going to say,
are you mad?
What I was good at when I was dating was not talking about myself, because I knew not to. What that does attract is mental people. So
I could tell you some stories there.
If they don't get the hint that they're just talking about themselves all the time, you're in trouble.
You were talking about someone. Was it this morning or yesterday? You said that you were asking her all these questions. I know. I've got to be careful how I say it. It was Emma, and she recently met up with friend, not the friend to talk about before. And there's one girl in the group, and Emma's just asking her loads of questions about how things are, blah blah blah. She's got, I think, 3 boys, asking how they were, blah blah. The entire evening, this girl didn't ask Emma anything about business, about me, about the kids, nothing. And it blows my mind. So and I know salespeople like that. In a business scenario, they'll just talk at someone.
The reality is, if you're in rooms or conversations where you don't want to ask questions, you're in the wrong rooms and you're in the wrong conversations. And that's a really hard thing to get your head around, that, shit, I've been going to this network club for 4 years and I haven't got any questions to ask anyone here. Consider that you're in the wrong room. Because if you can't...
And that's if you're, I would say, a really nice, humble person, that's difficult to accept, because you might, I'm getting too big for my boots. All these self-limiting thoughts that the other people are getting way more out of me than I'm getting out of them. Because if you're the biggest person in the room, or use the phrase the most successful person in the room, you're definitely in the wrong room. Yeah,
it's really hard, that, but the best, so that you don't feel like you're being an arrogant prick, basically. If you find yourself in rooms where you know you're not shy, but you're struggling to ask people questions, you must be in the wrong room. And a big indicator for it is, if the only question you've got for other business owners is how's business, you're barking up the wrong tree. And everyone, busy. That's what everyone says.
It's shit, Joel.
Yeah.
What do you say then? How's business? Oh, it's really crap, really struggling. Oh.
Yeah. Every day it's like wading through treacle. What were you expecting me to say? So, like... Yeah,
it's right. So, I mean, so if someone were to come to us and, what do you do? We generate appointments through digital advertising. What else would you like to know? I guarantee that conversation will be much better and more productive for us than we do this, we do that, we do a bit of this, we do a bit of that. We've been going since 18... Yeah, it's really hard to explain until you do it, because, again, the difference is massive. To write down How can I sum up how I help people, what I do?
Yeah.
Like you said, not my profession. What do I do? In one line, and then start sowing that in all your marketing. And when people ask you what do you do, to say that. It's one of the most impactful things you can do in your business.
Yeah,
And again,
absolutely.
99.9% of business owners don't do it. Easy win. Is that the easiest win ever in marketing?
I think so.
Apart from doing lots of Facebook ads.
It's a hack. You've come up with a hack, a life hack.
Oh, and it must be okay, because generally you hate hacks because it means you're just cutting corners.
Yeah, but I think that whole...
Being easy is good, cutting corners no.
Yeah, exactly that. If you can simplify everything to its simplest form where it still is effective, or more effective, then you're nailing it. And that... Oh, I don't know what that is, but...
That's another...
There's a dinosaur outside. Why?
Why can't people just get normal exhausts?
Or electric cars.
No, I haven't got the patience for that.
So, yeah, that simplicity is really important. And also, by being that clear, you're allowing the person you're talking to still feel in control of the conversation, to an extent. So, but especially if you end with, what else would you like to know? Because they're like, bloody hell, they actually care what I want to know. They're not. I gave them a cue to talk, and rather than...
Yeah, so someone needs marketing help, and they came to us, and it's like, well, we generate appointments through digital advertising. What else would you like to know? Right, do you do any SEO? And you can explain about SEO. Is there anything else? Well, I struggle with my Facebook ads. So you're only talking to them about SEO and Facebook ads because that's the only thing they're interested in. If you start talking about direct mail and billboards, I don't fucking want that shit. So now you're just seen as a generalist.
Yes.
And people don't want general. Even though you might do a range of things, they want to know that you're focused on the aspects that can help them the most.
Yeah. And I think once you've planted that seed, so straight away they know what you do, or what it is you do to help people. They don't mind how you get there anymore. So a real bugbear for me when talking to prospects and when seeing other people talk to their prospects is the prospect wants to dictate how you get to the result. Well, if they know, why are they talking to you? So by saying, let's say you're a property solicitor, so I help people overcome their property problems. Well, how do you do that? Well, I use a combination of legal techniques, common sense, and my 30 years of experience. What else would you like to know? Oh, well, I was hoping that you could help me with a boundary issue because next door's fence is on my garden. Yeah, I can. Oh, will you go down the normal route? Well, I'll go down the most appropriate route based on my experience. Wow, that sounds cool. Where what can happen is someone comes up to me and says, oh, I need Facebook ads. What do you need Facebook ads for? Well, I've been told that they're the place to be. What do you do? Oh, I'm a property lawyer, let's say. Well, Facebook ads might be the best thing for you to do, but we've got a whole lot of other tools in our arsenal that we might deploy depending on what outcome you're looking for. Right, okay, well, I just want Facebook ads. And you should have alarm bells at that point, and this is how you avoid that situation.
Yes, asking questions will make everything a lot less painful. It should make it a pleasure because you identify quickly whether you can help someone or not, whether you're right for each other, and again, people like that calmness, that certainty, again, rather than being bombarded and vomited over with jargon and technique. And God, it's rife in marketing, isn't it? It's almost like the fancier it sounds. It's like, no, people's bullshit alarm should be going off left, right and centre.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to say, we generate appointments through digital advertising. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something now. I use lead generation adverts to help people with dynamic calendars fill their slots.
It's business change, especially if you do network. Obviously, the world's opening up again. A lot of people, they're going to expos or going to networking breakfast, whatever, and it's usually a common question, is it, what do you do? Or if you're manning, can you say that anymore? A stand at an expo, to be able to, when people first come, to hook them in quickly.
Yeah.
That one line. Because people, they just don't like being talked at anymore. And it's an easy sales trap to fall into, I think. To say, well, we've got so many great things that can help so many people. There's that temptation to just, again, vomit all over them.
And it's the statement that should do the work for you. So an expo stand's a good example. You could have it printed on the stand, or on the screen ticking by, or if someone's waiting in your meeting area, it comes up on the TV screen there, or it's on the front of your brochure, or it's one of those things that it's like, it's Ron Seal, it does what it says on the tin. And so many businesses think to themselves, oh, well, we're more complicated than that, and that's why we're expensive, or we're more complicated than that, and that's, almost blinding people with bewilderment.
Even as we're saying this now, it sounds too simple. It sounds like it should be more complicated, otherwise people won't buy into it. All I can say is that no, you're wrong.
And that methodology applies to everything: branding, websites, copywriting. The simpler you can make it, the more successful it will be. And people find that really hard, but if you think of the most successful brands in the world, they're very simple, very easy to recall. If you think of the best websites that you use, Google, they're very simple, they're very easy to recall. If you think about the best books you've ever read, they're normal. The story might be complex and it might be fantastical and there could be lots of characters, but to actually absorb the words off the page is easy. It's simple, it's easy to recall. And people just don't seem to factor that in.
Yeah. Well, I just started reading, so we just watched the Jack Reacher series. Oh, holy shit, best series ever. And I've never read any Jack Reacher books, so I've started now. I didn't realise the first one was written. Firstly, I didn't realise Lee Child, the author, was born in Coventry. But the first Jack Reacher book came out in 1997, and that's what this Amazon series is based on. Holy shit, even shorter sentences than James Patterson.
Really?
So straight away from the off. And I suppose that's how Jack Reacher thinks and talks anyway, isn't it? Just very military, very short and precise and to the point. It's brilliant. I'm only a couple of chapters in, I'm already hooked. It's just so easy to absorb.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, why he's ended up writing 20-odd books.
My stepdad's not a big reader, and he loves those books. Doesn't mean they're poorly written. In fact, it's the opposite. If you can get, the more people you can get to read your book, well.
So the message is, simple is good.
Nice. So,
my wife's always telling me simple is good. Hope she's not insulting me.
So where do people go if they want to know more of this stuff, Andy?
Want to learn more about it? Book a free call at codebreak.co.uk, or go onto Facebook and search the Codebreak Club, and you'll find our free group where we share free tips every day.
And if you can't be asked with any of that, visit freemarketingbook.co.uk. We'll catch you again.